Death meditation, death contemplation. This is something I just started flirting with, I don't have any formal practice as to do it or something, but I just started flirting with the idea, I spend a few minutes in meditation, just kind of, rolling through, this death contemplation. So basically, death contemplation or death meditation, contemplation is probably more of an appropriate word. This is a practice found in some Buddhist schools, particularly Tibetans, and many other traditions also. So basically, everything leads to death, everything dies, all form is temporary, the world's impermanent, and that's just a matter of fact. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And it's actually, from the Godhead's perspective, for the common good of all. Because God wants to experience itself in unlimited forms. And so it has to die in one form to experience itself in another. So everything comes to an end. Your dad, your mom, your sister, your loved ones, they will all eventually die. Your health will eventually deteriorate, even if you do become some kind of a breatharian where your body continues to regenerate. At some point, that body is going, you'll probably just maybe one day die in your sleep. It's just the way everything is programmed that way because God doesn't want to be restricted in one form. It wants to go on. So it sort of sets the stakes and says, well, okay, we need something here. So death is that transformation of energy. So death meditation or death contemplation is you contemplating your own death. And there are several methods of doing it. You could be very, very creative and just contemplate death, contemplate your own death. You could visualize yourself, you visualize your funeral. I think the Stoics used to do that. They called it negative visualization. They would visualize not getting what they wanted, and they would visualize, death, their own death, and sort of extract whatever benefit comes from that. So you could visualize your own funeral. You could visualize your own body rotting. You could visualize even feel yourself leaving your body, and you could just sort of ask yourself questions, contemplate, like, have I, if I was to die tomorrow, or if I was to die, let's say next week, you set a death date for yourself, say, all right, well, 7 days from now, I'm gonna die. That's it. That's the end of that. And then you ask yourself questions, like, okay, well, now I'm about to die. So what is it that I would love to do before I die? If you guys ever watched The Bucket List, the movie, that was the whole premise of the movie. Two guys, Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, they both have cancer and they both meet in the hospital and they decide, well, we're going to do everything we didn't get the chance to do in life. So they go skydiving, they go traveling, they do a bunch of things. So the idea here is to say, well, okay, what would I have liked to do? And then you'll probably quickly see that actually most of the things for you, it's like your relationships that are close to you. And you'll realize, I would definitely call my mom. I would definitely leave that person a sweet letter. Maybe you have something with a friend or with a family member, a rift of some sort, and you might want to resolve it in a letter, some kind of a letter, or call them and be like, I really, that thing that happened between us, I hope we can put it behind us. I apologize. Hopefully it's water under the bridge. You'll pretty quickly start to see that, holy shit, like if I'm gonna die in a week, what would I do? And then you might, start to do these things, like call your mom, like say I love you to your sweetheart, or something or other, and then maybe do something, travel somewhere that you'd been putting off, that you really, really want to travel. Maybe, all right, So you might not do all these things immediately, because the other part of you still knows that I'm probably going to be alive by next week. Probably, you take probability. But nevertheless, you begin to realize what is really important in your own life. You begin to really realize what counts, what matters in your life, by asking yourself, contemplating such matters as death, as your inevitable death. It's an inevitable thing that could happen to you anytime, theoretically. Could happen to you anytime. A piano might fall on your head, and that's that for you. If you work in a music store, maybe. Or something or other. A snake bites you, or something happens. I don't know, man. There's a lot of ways you could die, A lot of ways. We're not going to run out of ways to die anytime soon. And it seems that God gets more creative with it too. So, theoretically, you could die anytime. Now, you might be like, well, probably I won't, because, life expectancy is 81 or 82 or this and that. And you're right. There is a good probability then, if you live in a privileged country and you've got all the privileges, then you're not going to die next week. That's definitely a strong probability. But, tell that to my cousin. My cousin passed away in an accident, in a car accident. He was a young, beautiful soul. Beautiful, beautiful guy. And he passed away when he was 13 or 14. Maybe a little older, maybe 16. Right? And so, that unfortunate thing happened. The probability was that he was going to live on to be 70, 80. But it didn't happen. And so, it could happen to any of us. So, when you begin to contemplate death more and more, and you sort of make it even a part of your life, to continuously contemplate the impermanent, continuously contemplate that which has to end eventually, then you will come to a point where you realize what really matters in your life. What is it that matters? What are your priorities? And sure, you might go on living until 80, 90, 100, but if you keep death in mind, like the Romans had a saying, memento mori, remember death. And so what would happen is, if an emperor won a battle and he felt so high up the skies, what was the custom is that they would have a slave. As the emperor's going through the victory parade, he would keep whispering in the emperor's ear, memento mori, remember death. You're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. So that the emperor wouldn't get so up his own ass by his victory, by his latest, battle, military victory. And so it's true, if in that sense, if you remember death and you sort of keep the impermanence in your mind at all times, that you would live more intensely in the moment, that you would do the things that really matter to you, that you would speak your mind, that you would stop putting off projects. You start to make YouTube videos, you start to make your blog, you start to put together your music band, etc., 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 etc. And you would realize, well, okay, that's what matters, that's what matters, that's what matters. Very, very powerful contemplation, very powerful meditation. And I think the Tibetans do it differently. They literally visualize, like feel the elements leaving their body, etc. So there's so many ways you could do this. But the contemplation of the matter is enough to invoke a certain feeling in you that could be really powerful, and it could actually make you, paradoxically, live very, very, very intensely in the present moment. Because if this could be your last moment at any moment, then you might as well absolutely cherish it and absolutely live it to the fullest, and do the things that actually matter to your character, that actually are important to your character. Taking care of your parents, or calling your mom, or loving your sweetheart, not taking your sweetheart for granted, and loving your friends. Not that you don't take for granted the present moment any longer, because it is a fleeting moment. Everything is fleeting. Change is the only constant in life. There's another paradox. So it starts to take you on all these thoughts and all these I suppose, higher ways of perceiving reality, higher ways of thinking. Change is the only constant in life. We are permanent beings experiencing an impermanent world. It is the one permanent being, the infinite being, experiencing the finite world, to experience all these different forms, all these different manifestations, all these different experiences, these different emotions, these different feelings, on and on and on and on it goes. On and on and on it goes. So I like to do this exercise at night. I find it difficult to do it throughout the day because there's so much life going on and so much stuff, and the energy is different. And I want to do different things. I like to do this like at night. Like I'll do a little bit of that tonight because I'm sort of flirting with the idea, right? You could even make it a meditation. Sit for half an hour and just contemplate that. Very powerful stuff. Maybe I'll do that tonight. But I'm still flirting, in the early stages of flirting with the idea. But just flirting alone, it just makes you start to think in a different way, perceive things in a different way. I got a letter I gotta write to somebody. Perhaps if I contemplate this long enough, I will write that letter. Perhaps I will write that letter and send it to that person. I'd like them to have it in paper. In paper. It'll definitely mean more. I got this rift with this person, and I haven't done anything about it yet. I just like to leave a letter, say, hey, look, I hope for the best, and I love you and stuff. But I haven't done it. I haven't gotten to it. I thought about death a few months ago. I was like really thinking about it, and I said, well, that letter has to be written at some point. But I didn't do it. Maybe if now I actually flirt with the idea long enough and persistently enough, I'll actually write the letter and send the letter. Once I actually do that, then I have contemplated death long enough, and now the meditation is actually beginning to work. But that's what happens if you do contemplation on death. It will really get you to do the things that matter. Because if you're really gonna die, you would do things differently. You would absolutely do things differently. You would, if I put myself in a state where, look, Saeed, you might die any second, I'll definitely get off my ass and write that letter and send that letter. Definitely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You see, I got a few other things I'd like to do also. And so I hope to be able to put myself in that state enough. Like, I used to do that a lot back in the days, and that's what got me started on the whole YouTube thing. Because I'd be like, I had a quote, I had it on my WhatsApp, it was the thing, I had it for a year. Today is a good day to die. And I sort of really rolled with that mentality in those days. And I got a lot of shit done, man. I got a lot of shit done in those days. I was very bold, and I got a lot of shit done because I'd wake up and be like, well, I had it written on my wall. The first thing I wake up in the morning, I look at it, today is a good day to die. Okay, let's take on the day. Could be a last day. And I remember that was the days I started YouTubing and taking cold showers and really, really coming out of my comfort zone and really being bold in life. And it was that mindset that got me to be that, to get stuff done, to do things that I was uncomfortable with, like putting myself out into the public, making videos, putting my face behind it, speaking boldly, speaking authentically, speaking from the heart, not caring what others think. And it really took in those days that kind of mindset. Today is a good day to die. So this might be a good thing to incorporate into your life, depending on which stage you're at, which I think doesn't matter which stage you're at. You have some unfinished business with something or other, someone, that perhaps that contemplation will help you finish that business. You see? And it will help you also just be more content and fulfilled in the moment. So, that's about it. Thank you to everybody watching this. Thank you for watching this video. And thank you to the Patreons for your continuous, generous, amazing, wonderful support. If you would like to become part of the family, their link is in the description. Get off your lazy ass right now. Memento mori, right? Memento mori. I mean, let's contemplate death here, Would you have liked to contribute to Saeed? Let's say you're dying in a week. If you put your credit card information, you'll contribute with $2 a month until your credit card expires. Wouldn't that be something, huh? Like, oh yeah, I really would wanted to contribute to Saeed's Patreon, but I never got to it. Well, get off your lazy ass and do it now. Okay, so thank you very much. If you want to just do one time thing, because you might die tonight or tomorrow, and you just do one time, you could go on PayPal. There's a link in the description as well. I love you guys, and until next time, may the force be with you.